In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Simply Schedule Appointments to set up a calendar for customers to create an appointment for a handyman. Let's take a look at how that works. The first thing we're going to do is create an appointment type, and it even has a little prompt here. Create a new appointment type. Now it says consultation phone call, but that's coming from this name, which we are now going to change. So these are going to be appointment types, and one will be hanging pictures. And it will take approximately 1 hour, and we'll leave the label green. And we're not going to put instructions in quite yet. Availability. When is your handyman going to be available to work? I like the defaults here, 9 to 5 with a lunch break. So we're going to leave that just the way it is. But then there's an availability window. You can choose dates. So maybe the handyman only works in the summer or only in the winter or something like that. So you could set those, but we're not going to. We're going to skip the team members section and also capacity. Let's look at scheduling options. There are two types of time zone here, localized and locked. Localized is when two people could meet in different time zones, like in virtual. Since this is going to be an appointment at some location, we need to choose locked. Now we can change our time zone here as well. I happen to be in Eastern, so I'm going to edit that. And this simply goes to the settings section of Simply Schedule Appointments. And so we set this to Detroit. There we are. And now, even though it says Los Angeles, it's going to fix itself once I save this form. Now let's look at appointment buffers. What do buffers mean? Let's say that the handyman has a job from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. If someone were allowed to create a second job from 10 a.m. to 11, he would have exactly 0 time to get from one job to the other, pack up his truck, etc. So we need to create some time between appointments. And we're going to choose 60 minutes because you may have to drive across town. And I'm going to leave 0 after because if he had an appointment from 9 to 10, then the before 60 minutes would not allow one until 11. Now you could switch that. You could make it after. You could cut it in half and make it 30 minutes each. Doesn't matter. It's up to you. But the point is that you need to create a buffer between appointments or it's going to get awfully uncomfortable. Then there's how much time do you need when someone books an appointment? Right now it's set to 1 day, which means someone could make an appointment for tomorrow and say, come fix my deck tomorrow. That might work depending on his availability. However, maybe he needs a week. Maybe he needs a month. Maybe he's booked for 3 weeks. That's entirely up to you. You can set this to anything you need, but it allows you to give some extended buffer to say, listen, I'm really busy right now, so I'm not taking anything for the next month. And then how far in advance? Right now, it's a year, which means someone could say, I would like my pool installed next year. Maybe that works for you. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you want to limit it to several months so that you know what life's going to be like in 6 months or whatever. But you'll want to set this to make sure that they can't create something 5 years ahead. That would be ridiculous. Then we have per day limit. How many appointments of this type can be booked in a day? We're not going to limit this because maybe we want a full day of hanging pictures. That's just the way it goes. So we're going to leave that. So there we have the scheduling. And this was some of the most important parts of this video. We have locked time zones. We have an appointment buffer. We have notice required and how far in advance someone can make an appointment. So let's look at some other things. We would like people to pay ahead of time. And so we can choose required. Must submit a valid payment to reserve a payment time. Now we're going to charge $60 per hour. Now we don't put the hour in here. We put it in up above for how long an appointment is. We could put in a cancellation and refund policy. There is a customer information screen by default, a confirmation screen, and an edit and reschedule screen. We'll turn that on just because it's a good idea. And these are set elsewhere in the settings. For our payment method, we're going to use Stripe. For setting up Stripe, we have another excellent video on how to do that. In this video, we have Stripe set to test mode. You can see that right here at the top. That's so that I can show you how a transaction will occur without actually spending money. One more thing we're going to need is customer information. Where are we going? Obviously, we need to go someplace to hang the pictures, whatever it is. So we can click Add Field, and we're going to use single line of text. We want an address. Let's see what good icons we have in here for address. We'll use this pin, and we'll call it address, and we make it required. And we'll do city and state, zip, and we'll include telephone. We'll make that required too. However, there's a special type just for phone number, and it should auto use a telephone. Oh, it didn't. Let's go edit, set the icon to telephone. There we go. So now we have customer information. One more thing we want to do is set up notifications. The last thing you want to happen is to have a handyman show up and surprise the customer because they forgot. So right now we have set up automatic emails, and you can click these to edit them. So here's email customer when an appointment is booked. We're going to keep editing actually, and we'll hit save on this, and then I will click and go to that. So let's open that back up and go to notifications, email the customer. And here's where the email is. So there are placeholders for various things, which you can see down here. You can choose when it goes out, etc. Now, you also have the option to set up SMS so that they can get a text rather than in an email or in addition to an email. I don't have it set up in here, but we have an excellent video on how to set up SMS. And once you do, it works just like the email setups. You create a time and a message, and away it goes. So I'm going to set up one more appointment type quickly, and you can watch how that goes. We click Add New. We'll call it Wall Mounting TV for 90 minutes. And availability, again, we will leave wide open. Scheduling options, we're going to go locked. We want 60 minutes before. We want a notice 1 day so that they can't call me and say, come today. Then 365 days out. Payments, we're going to use Stripe, and we're going to require that they pay up front. It will be $90. And we'll edit, and we'll include the edit and reschedule screen. We need our customer information, and we'll set up notifications. Our email ones are set up, and we will set up the SMS ones after watching that other video. And click Save. And now through the magic of editing, I'm going to add 2 more that you don't have to watch because they're going to be just like the others. And there we've added 2 more appointment types. Assembling IKEA furniture for 2 hours. They might need several of those. I've assembled IKEA furniture. And paint touch-up, 3 hours. Each of them has a price set, and each of them has good padding. So now let's take a look at what this will look like putting it on the front end. Here's our page, and I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to first add a row block real quick in the editor, and then I'm going to add an appointment booking form. And here are the appointment types that we created. Now on the right, we have some options. We could choose a variety of things. We want all in this case. If this site featured other appointment types, we would need to select individual ones. Then there's types view. Right now it's a list. It could be a grid, and it could be 2 columns. I like 2 columns because it makes the page less tall. Then I don't necessarily like it full width. There's a lot of extra space here. So I'm going to add 50 pixels of padding. And now it fits just a little bit better. So now we've embedded this form. Let's see how it works. Let's choose hanging pictures. This is the first appointment we've ever scheduled, so we can choose pretty much any day, any time. So let's pick Monday. And I can't pick the morning because I'm making this video on Sunday, and we have a 24-hour window. And so we can't do that. So let me show you what it would look like on Tuesday. There, we could do the whole day. And we had set a lunch break, so there's that. So let's say 9 a.m. Tuesday morning, and here's all the customer information. And I automated this user, and so it made a Puerto Rican phone number. But we can do this, and it auto-detects the country. Then we need to pay. We're going to pay $60 with a credit card. And you'll note that it said saving appointment information. So the appointment exists right now. It's not set. It won't notify anybody. And we have not booked it yet. But the information is saved. So I'm going to use a Stripe test number. And we'll click book. And there we are. Our appointment is booked for hanging pictures. You'll remember I set my time zone correctly. And there it is. I did use a fake email address. So my notifications are not going to actually work, so I can't show you that. But it does send emails, and if I had set them up, it would send the SMS. And from here, I can save the calendar. I could edit my information, reschedule, cancel appointment, or reschedule a new appointment. And that's how you set up a form for a handyman.